Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, and today I'm hanging out with
Eric Stave.
And we're diving into the Tome of Beasts, and today we're talking about the Arboreal Grappler.
Speaking of diving, dive in the description below where you can learn how to game with Nerdarchy through the newsletter, as well as gain RPG tips delivered to your inbox.
Alright, so the Arboreal Grappler is a freaked out monkey ape.
Aberration. Before we even get started, it's on page 25 of the Tome of Beasts, and we can even show you a picture of this crazy tentacled gorilla monkey thing.
So the Arboreal Grappler is a bizarre, twisted creature that, as opposed to having these regular limbs, it's got huge, long tentacles that allow it to just move through the trees with ease.
And I'm looking at this thing going, wow, it's kind of weird and cool at the same time, and like a real terror in the forest or the jungle. But I'm like, it's got to be hard to walk around with those on those things, because its arms and legs are all just these long tentacles,
right? And
then I look down and
it has a speed of 10.
It has a speed of 10 if it's not climbing, and it even says that it kind of like crawls along.
It's just got to flail the limbs around and move.
Yeah, I almost feel like it should just turn itself into a wheel and try and roll.
Well, then it would actually have decent movement if it did.
Yeah. So these things are very evil. They prefer to eat humanoids, intelligent humanoids,
and specifically elves.
The other white meat. Elvishly delicious. Nice. So these guys are communal. They build basically these villages or family units up in the trees, kind of basically like primates, and They're very difficult to spot. Perception 20 to find it, and if you see one going in and out, you get advantage on the roll, but they're still pretty freaking hard to see. So I feel like there's a bunch of different adventures you could build around these, like especially if a group of them move into a particular territory, and they're hunting the locals, or elves are disappearing. Maybe a trade route goes through the forest, and things, the caravan goes missing. The adventurers are called to investigate. They find the smashed wagons,
and all the stuff is there, but the people are missing.
Well, no, they might have taken the stuff too, because they weave stuff in and out of their.
That's true.
Of their nests, or some combination of thereof. Maybe they take the stuff, maybe they don't. But either way, it could be. You could basically build an arboreal dungeon, where they have to find the dungeon, and then you can design it so that the players have to figure out how to get up there and move through the treetops, and they're fighting the Arboreal Grapplers, trying to rescue the people from the caravan.
And the great part is the grappler. It has how do they call it? Boss cage brachiation. It's got the ability to move in and out of combat without drawing attacks of opportunity.
Yeah. So basically they have the climb speed version of flyby attack.
Right.
So that would make for interesting combat, especially if you have a group of these that kind of swing through the party, attacking them as they go, and then they keep going. And folks, it gets a lot worse from here. Their tentacle attacks, they have a grapple ability.
Mm-hmm.
And they're able to grab a small or medium creature and keep climbing. Now, granted, the DC isn't super high to escape.
Only a 13.
It's only a 13. Very doable. But you have to wait till your turn to do it, right? These guys ambush your adventuring party. They swoop through, grab a couple people, and now they're going
in different
up.
directions.
They could go in different directions, but either way, they're going up.
Right.
I would have them go up.
Absolutely.
So now it's you can break you technically you have to break the grapple because they're crushing you. Basically they have anaconda limbs. So if you don't, they're going to crush you to death. But the other problem is if you break free,
you're now in the trees.
You now may be 20 feet in the air, 30, 40 feet in the air, depending.
And not all PCs have the ability to either have or get a climb speed.
That's true, or featherfall, or something. Because imagine, right? Ambush round, boom! These guys hit you, and now they got to grab some of you. Now they're climbing. Suppose they win initiative.
Oh man!
Now they're like six. Now they can be like 60 feet in the air. Now that's nothing to sneeze at. Challenge rating 3. So 6 dice 6 in addition to whatever damage you just took.
Well, and then of course what happens like if you really go crazy and say, okay, there's 4 of them. 2 grab. You grab. This side grabs 1. This side grabs 1. They go this way. They go this way. And there's now 2 of them to just beat the snot out of the one in the tentacles on either side. That's pretty much death for either of those characters.
Yeah, so you could make some really deadly encounters with this monster. Mm-hmm. But in addition to that, this is the series where we do Dungeons and Dragons monsters, and not only do we tell you, how to use the monster, but we also try to think of some interesting and creative ways
to use it
as well. Now, they're well above animal intelligence. Rocket scientists, they're not.
They're a 6 with a 10 wisdom. So for natural critters, which they're technically not, their wisdom is a little bit lower. But they are intelligent enough that they can use tools. They can use tactics. And
it also discusses basically a family unit and a social structure.
Right.
But here's the thing. It's an aberration, so I feel like aberrations can always have the lower wisdom.
That's true.
Because they're kind of crazy anyway and warped and twisted. Like in the story for these is they were warped and twisted by the gods for whatever reason. Which, I mean...
They flung poo too much.
They what?
They flung poo too much.
Oh, is that what happened? It's always possible. But, I bring that up because that's a detail that you can snag onto in your campaign world and kind of like build it into the story that you're working with. Maybe they're angry at a particular god for this, and like maybe they're actually, they're kind of like waging a war on his followers.
That could be an interesting idea.
So that could be something that you play with and introduce the concept to your players, and maybe it makes for a moral quandary for them because they're kind of pissed off, but maybe they really have a reason to be.
Like what if this encounter is the creatures that have been warped? Like it's not generational.
It just
happened.
Yeah.
So the player can go and investigate as to what actually transpired. Maybe all right, this was a curse by the gods. Well, they preferred the curse as opposed to the out and out killing. So if you decide to go and wipe them all out, what is that going to mean for you? Later repercussions.
Right. Yeah. Like maybe you weren't supposed to.
Right.
There's also like a weird thing in there too, and it's like one of the last lines on
basically they're jealous of people who can walk.
Feet. Yeah, if you got feet, they're totally pissed at you. Like you could totally do one of these guys as like a Jack the Ripper character, right? And instead of eating people and killing them, maybe it leaves them alive, but it cuts off their legs.
Cuts off their legs or just cuts off feet.
Yeah, maybe. Or every time he does take someone, they do take somebody to eat them, maybe they just leave behind the feet. And they, there's a pile. The players come across a pile of feet.
That would be crazy.
It would be insane. Yeah, I could just imagine the players. They come across like this pile of bones, and the pile of bones is after a little investigating and sifting through, they're like, wait a minute, why are these all just feet? But anyway, I don't know. I found that part comical.
It definitely has some interesting uses within the game. What do you guys think? How would you use the Arboreal Grappler in your game? Do you have a copy of Tome of Beasts? If you want to jump down the description below, you can pre-order it or order it depending upon when this goes up. So again, put it down below while you're at it. Like, share, and subscribe.
You can tweet at us over on Twitter.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.